You know, like the telling of stories is something that gets done by the right people, to the right people, at the right time.
There's a lot of history in the Huon Valley.
Somebody just brought this in, and it's about people in 1933 talking about what happened to them in 1887. And the introduction here is talking about there will be a time when tourists and new residents would like to know what happened here. And that's why I'm writing it down.
We've got to remember whose shoulders we stand on today, because if we forget that, then I think we're lost for purpose.
Because of the way transport was conducted in those days, it was mostly by water. The way settlement developed owed a lot to the chief connection between Hobart and the Huon being via the Huon River and D'Entrecasteaux Channel.
Everything all came through those sort of, because the whole sailing, and originally it was sailing boats and then steamers and stuff like that, right throughout the whole Huon, right through the catamaran, you know, that was 3,000 people with the catamaran.
But I've spent a lot of time further south, particularly in the Research Bay area. The advantage you have there is that over the years, if something's happened there once and it's finished, for instance, if it was sawmilling or mining, the sawmill's built, it operates, they cut out the timber and the sawmill's abandoned. Quite often it's not built over. The site is just left and nothing else happens there. So what you can find down there are remnants of those activities.
In the days when they used to cut Huon pine out there, the policemen had to check the finer's licence and collect their royalties. They had a house by the mouth of the Picton.
And at that particular time there would have been Huon piners in the upper Huon River, collecting Huon pine and floating it down in floods.
A lot of times they just floated them out to the boat that was going to take them away.
The pine had land there, and they'd all have it branded. Each piner would have his brand on the end of it, and he'd know which was his logs and which was the other fellas.
There would have been hundreds of mills down here, and cutting timber to build houses. And early settlement, when I'm saying the earliest settlement here, it was all going back to England.
They came to Tasmania for its rich blue gum trees, catamaran, Cockle Creek, huge amounts of blue gum logs. They all went to flaming England to build boats.
And it had a water wheel driven mill that was used for flour and also timber, and all along the Commandy River you have stories of the shingle cutters working there and the boats coming in and taking it away. So it's an area where there's been almost 200 years of industry around timber.
Now, as it happens, once the sawmill was abandoned, the people that had been living in that area just drifted away because there was no employment.
In them days, Huonville, the road like we've drove out today,
None of it there.
none of it there.
When I first came here, Huonville wasn't bitumened. I thought I'd got to the Wild West in America.
The historic nature of our home, which has been renovated back to its former glory from the 1800s, it's a house of meaning for Geeveston.
So it was built by the Geeveston family as a kind of a boarding house, essentially, for workers down here in the timber industry.
The fact that you had everything in the town that you needed, that made life very easy and very pleasant. Everyone was employed, gainful employment, whether it's the fruit industry or whatever.
The war was on when I left school, and Brown's had a big pulp factory down the bottom of the hill, and this one over here, Robertson's, that was a big pulp mill. And the two more or less employed 100 people.
There were 7 million cases of packed apples where they wrapped in paper in the case, left the Huon every year. When Port Huon, there'd be 3 fruit boats at Port Huon at one time before in Hobart.
And you know, they'd have stamps where you'd stamp the apple boxes, wooden boxes that you made yourself, and you'd stamp the box to Copenhagen, Liverpool, wherever it might have been, and they went all over the world, and then all of a sudden it stopped.
There was a talk about, they said they was extinct in 1936.
Yes.
They can tell that to the Marines.
Right, you don't believe that?
No, I don't. I've seen it, and I mean, and I'm not. I mean, if I don't see it, I wouldn't.
Wouldn't say it.
I wouldn't say no.
Yeah.
God has set it up, and a big one, a little one. We've seen him go from here down to that fence there easy.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, boy, I'd like to grab that little one.
Yeah,
he looked nice. Yeah,
the young one.
And they were definitely there.
We had every Saturday night we would have a dance, which was whether it was a pop band, but I can tell you the Palais Theatre down there fair shook when these bands played down there, but they would be packed.
Called it a green and gold ball dance.
Yeah.
And that was on every year in September for years and years and years.
Several times during the year they would hold balls in the Palais, and all the older generation would come in all their regalia, and it was just simply beautiful.
My wife can remember the circus coming to Huonville, and she can remember, and she has photographs of the elephants coming down Sale Street.
Football club was a big part of the town, and the fact that, as I say, 1887, and anyone who was anyone played football.
Especially if they can win a premiership. I think they won a premiership in 1953, and they went from there to 1971 before they won their next one.
Yeah.
You know, and you'd have thought you'd have won the world, dude.
Yeah, so that was a big event.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it certainly was.
The fire brigade's out going up and down the road with the siren going.
Grandfather actually played football for Franklin as well in gumboots.
For fun?
Yeah.
Ride cattle, ride steers. That was made of mine, yeah. Dad used to buy steers, and these Wallaces, old Wallaces were down here.
Yeah.
You know, from up Oaklands and Campbelltown and all them.
Oh,
and they drive them down, you know.
Oh, yeah.
You know, Vince's saddle they call up,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Well, that's how they got the name. He was a drover.
But there are so many tales that never get told. And we get the impression of the fascinating folks that have come our way, you know, just being on the planet.